The cold wind bit through his thin jacket as he shuffled toward the bus stop, clutching a small, worn backpack. His hands trembled, not entirely from the cold, but from the uncertainty that weighed on him like a heavy stone. People walked past, their eyes averted, their faces buried in phones or the warmth of their own lives. He had been asked to leave the coffee shop again, just like yesterday and the day before that. The sign outside didn't say he wasn't welcome, but the tone of the manager's words made it clear enough. "Sir, you need to leave." He sank onto the bench at the bus stop, feeling invisible, a ghost in a city that moved too fast to notice him. The weight of embarrassment and loneliness pressed down on him, and he closed his eyes, wondering if anyone would ever see him as more than a nuisance. But then, something unexpected happened, a small gesture that would remind him, and anyone watching, that kindness can appear when we least expect it. Before we dive into this story, if you enjoy heartwarming tales that show the beauty of human connection, please hit subscribe, like, and comment below. Welcome to Kindness Story Hub, where we celebrate stories that restore faith in humanity. He had always been careful, moving quietly, never asking for much. The coffee shop was warm, a rare comfort in his otherwise chilly days, and he had grown accustomed to sitting in the corner with a cup of tea, trying to stay out of the way. But the staff had started to notice him more than he liked, whispering to each other, casting uneasy glances his way. The polite requests to leave had become routine, and yet, despite feeling rejected, he returned. Some part of him believed he deserved that small warmth, even if it was fleeting. That morning, after being gently asked to leave once again, he wandered to the nearby bus stop. He felt defeated, like he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, and it seemed like no one cared. People rushed past, some smiling, some frowning, all absorbed in their own lives. He sat silently, head down, trying not to be noticed. Then a little girl appeared. She couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old, holding her mother's hand. Her eyes, wide with curiosity and innocence, locked onto him. He tried to look away, but she smiled brightly and waved. He managed a small, hesitant nod. That tiny gesture sparked a warmth in him that he hadn't felt in days. Her mother, noticing the interaction, smiled too. She walked over, crouched down, and spoke softly to him. "Would you like to join us for breakfast?" "We have plenty," she said. His heart leapt. He wanted to refuse, afraid of imposing or causing trouble, but something in her eyes, a simple human kindness, melted the fear inside him. Sitting at their table, sharing pancakes and scrambled eggs, he felt a sense of belonging he hadn't felt in years. Conversation flowed gently, filled with laughter from the little girl and warm encouragement from her mother. For the first time in a long while, he didn't feel like he was on the outside looking in. He was seen. He was valued. After breakfast, the little girl tugged his sleeve. "Do you want to come with us to the park?" she asked. He hesitated, feeling the familiar walls of caution closing in, but then he remembered the cold bench at the bus stop, the endless days of solitude. With a quiet smile, he nodded. At the park, he watched her swing high into the sky, her laughter ringing like bells. He felt lighter, almost as if the weight of the world had lifted just a little. People passed by, some glancing curiously, some smiling at the sight of them together. One man sitting nearby leaned over and said, "It's nice to see someone being treated with kindness." The comment caught him off guard. He realized how starved he had been for simple gestures that acknowledged his humanity. As the day unfolded, the mother shared her own story. She told him about times she had felt invisible, times she had struggled, and how a small act of kindness from a stranger had changed her life. Each word resonated deeply with him. He understood, in a way he hadn't before, that kindness was contagious, and that even the smallest gesture could ripple far beyond its moment. Later, they returned to the little coffee shop where he had been asked to leave. He expected the same cold reception, but something had shifted in him. The mother and daughter approached the manager, thanking him for the space he had always provided. "He just needed a little warmth," the mother said. The manager, a stern woman with a perpetual frown, looked at him differently this time. There was no need for words. The simple presence of a family who had welcomed him softened the atmosphere in a way that no reprimand ever could. After leaving the coffee shop, the little girl handed him a small notebook. "Write down your dreams," she said. "I like to write mine, and it makes me happy." He took it, feeling the weight of hope settle gently in his chest. He had never considered writing down his dreams. Survival had always been his priority. But now, with this simple gift, he realized he had something worth dreaming for again. Days turned into weeks, and their friendship continued. Sometimes he would meet them at the park, other times they would invite him for small meals. Each encounter strengthened the fragile threads of confidence and self-worth he had almost lost. Slowly, he began to believe in himself again, in the goodness of people, and in the unexpected ways life could surprise you. One rainy afternoon, as they all huddled under a large umbrella waiting for a bus, a man ran past, slipping on the wet pavement. Without thinking, he reached out and steadied the man. The little girl clapped and laughed. The mother smiled. In that single moment, he understood fully that kindness is not only received but shared. One act leads to another, a chain that could stretch far beyond what anyone could see. It wasn't just about food or warmth anymore. It was about connection, about seeing someone fully and acknowledging their worth. That connection, once so painfully absent in his life, now pulsed with life and promise. Even the barista at the coffee shop began to offer small smiles when she saw him with the family. No words were needed. Gestures had power beyond explanation. Eventually, he found himself volunteering at a local community center, helping other people who felt invisible or forgotten. He shared his story, not in a boastful way, but in a quiet, heartfelt tone that inspired those around him. Every smile he received, every nod of appreciation, reminded him of that first moment at the bus stop, of the little girl and her mother who had seen him when no one else did. Life didn't magically become perfect. He still faced hard days, moments of doubt and fear. But the memory of that day, the warmth of being welcomed without judgment, had planted a seed in his heart. And he nurtured it, watering it with every act of kindness he could give to someone else. It was a reminder that the smallest gestures, an invitation to breakfast, a smile, a notebook for dreams, could grow into life-changing experiences. Looking back, he realized something profound. Kindness is not reserved for those who deserve it most, or for people who fit neatly into society's rules. It is for everyone, even the ones who feel invisible, even the ones who have been told to leave. And sometimes, when we least expect it, kindness arrives in the form of a little girl's smile, a mother's gentle voice, or a stranger's unexpected invitation. He no longer felt invisible, not because the world had changed, but because he had experienced the undeniable truth that human connection is stronger than rejection, more powerful than fear. That day at the bus stop had been the beginning of a journey where small acts of warmth could heal invisible wounds and inspire hope. And so, he carries that lesson forward, every day, in every choice, in every interaction. Kindness is not a grand gesture. Often, it is quiet, subtle, and almost invisible. But its impact can be monumental. A smile, a shared meal, a gentle word, these are the moments that make life worth living, the sparks that remind us we are never truly alone. If you take one thing from his story, let it be this: never underestimate the power of simple human kindness. You may think your actions are small, insignificant, or unnoticed, but to someone who is struggling, they may mean the world. A single gesture can transform a life, just as it transformed his. So next time you see someone who seems lost, lonely, or invisible, remember the man at the bus stop. Offer a smile, a kind word, or even just a moment of your attention. You never know what ripple effect your kindness might create. And sometimes, in the most unexpected ways, it will come back to you, not as repayment, but as a reminder that we are all connected by the simple, beautiful thread of humanity. In the end, being asked to leave wasn't the end of his story, it was the moment before everything changed. Because when kindness shows up, life suddenly feels lighter, hearts feel warmer, and hope becomes real again. And that is a gift worth sharing, over and over, with anyone and everyone who crosses your path.